All right, back again. Here are my drag builds. I wanted to bring this out because there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to a drag build, especially when I posted about the new associated team associated drag car. So one was bodies, and I've done pretty much every drag build that I can find out there involving a slash. And these are all ready to run chassis with a drag setup on them. And what I mean by that, the Mustang here was Traxxas's version of a drag build. They listed a video of what parts it takes to build a drag car. So I went ahead and pretty much copied that build with the red Mustang. Now, Jconcepts did a drag build setup using their parts. Those are the Jconcept wheels and tires. And they did a version of a drag build using a slash with this body, which, believe it or not, these two right here, this Mustang and that Nova 2 body, those were pretty detailed and hard to do conversions. And what I mean by that is the bodies on these aren't very wide. So in order to take a slash and fit that body on it, you had to make a control arm change. Same thing with this Mustang. In order to do this Mustang, you had to do a control arm change in order to fit that Mustang body into that chassis. So with that being said, they came out with this one. This was Proline's version, using the Proline wheels and the Hoosiers on the OCTANE series. Now this setup was a lot easier because the body is a lot wider. You didn't have to take a slash and adjust the control arms. As you see, the back has the STRC wheelie bar, along with the Mustang has the STRC wheelie bar. Now, with that said, this conversion, if you bought a low center of gravity slash, two-wheel drive slash, the conversion is really simple. Same thing with these two. Now me, because the high center of gravity chassis are so much cheaper, and I buy them brushed, or even VXL, even if you bought it VXL, because then you get the bearings. But high center of gravity, it's only about $20 to convert it to low center of gravity. If you buy it as a VXL, use the VXL electronics. If not, I suggest buying a brushed version and then just converting it and putting your electronics into it, so that at least you have the radio and you have the receiver, using the Traxxas radio and receiver, because the range is very, very good. So with that being said, RC Guy Garage, he did a drag bug. And with that, I saw that, and that was a pretty good challenge. And so that's where this bug came in, using parts that I had to convert this thing to a drag bug, still on a slash platform. But I didn't have to, as you see, shorten the wheelbase. And then I went out and picked this up, the BR10. Now when I unboxed this, I noticed that the platform was very, very similar to a Slash, which is similar to all of these builds on this table. So with that being said, people are asking, does this body fit on a Slash platform? Well, that all depends on which body are you talking about, because some of these bodies are too skinny and some bodies might be too wide. Now the overall length might be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these builds, pop the lids to them, and show you what I mean by measuring the wheelbase and setting the bodies on top of each other, so that you guys understand what's going on with what body by Proline or any other manufacturer out there fitting on top of these drag builds. So if that interests you, stick around and we'll take a look at my RC drag series. Alright guys, be right back. Alright, here we go. So, here's our Mustang. I'm going to go ahead and pop the lid off this. So, as you notice, it's a LCG Slash Stampede rear body mount, Proline front body mount. This has a Mamba X 6S system in it with the 5700 kV Castle motor, and then a Traxxas receiver. So this also has, the rear tires are the Traxxas funny car wheels. Now the front wheels are a Rustler, or I'm sorry, a Bandit front wheel. And the reason I did this was I originally bought the Traxxas funny car wheels for the front, and they were really tiny and I didn't like the look of it. So I went ahead and, still with the Traxxas theme, I got the Bandit front wheels and tires and went ahead and did it that way. And with that, the wheelbase is 10 inches. And the rear wheelbase, if we can get that on there, is 11.5 inches. Now, with the rear on this, I had to buy really small 12mm hex wheel adapters, because the Traxxas ones stuck it out another 1/4 inch on each side, which it would hit the rear of the body really hard. Even the way it is right now, I had to trim a lot of the rear body. Now this has the STRC rear wheelie bar, which originally had this wheelie bar off the Nova, which is the Traxxas wheelie bar. But I found that the grip of this one needed a longer wheelie bar, so it works better with this wheelie bar. The Jconcepts, the way that car is set up, it could use a shorter wheelie bar, so I put the Traxxas one on there. So I did switch those two parts around just because they actually ran down the 132 foot mark a lot better set up this way. They launched a lot better with the wheelie bar switched. So with that said, these control arms are off the Bandit, front and rear. So the Slash front arms brought the wheels way out wide, and they wouldn't fit under this body or the Mustang body. So I ended up having to get Bandit front arms and rear arms to tuck the wheels underneath these bodies. Now let me pop the lid to this one. Now, this one was a 3-piece body, which the body was very hard to shoe glue together. So, this one, same thing. Front has Bandit arms, which brings it to 10. And then the rear with the Jconcept wheels. Now I do have Hoosiers on this because the Jconcept tires were too soft and I burned a hole right through them on 3S. So I went ahead and put the Proline rear tires, I just swapped those out because the other ones got holes in them. But this is 10 1/4 inches wide and then 10 inches wide up front, because it's using Bandit arms all the way around. So both of these platforms are both using Bandit arms. This also has a castle system and a built transmission. They use the VXL transmission. I just happen to have that transmission laying around and wanted more weight in the rear. So I went ahead and used an Intergy rear transmission case that I had built up. And both of these are on Traxxas rear axles. Now I am using the Rustler 4x4 front axles on the rear of both of these. They are a lot stronger. They just have to be cut down to fit into there. So, with that being said, let's come over to the OCTANE. Now the OCTANE, you don't have to change the control arms. The OCTANE series of bodies, I think there's 3 different bodies that you could buy. I chose this one. I call it watermelon. But this uses standard front arms, which is 10 1/2 inches wide and then 11 1/2 in the rear. So with that being said, you don't have to change the control arms buying Proline's wheels and tires to fit under the big body. Now these are something I added on top of this. I added these because the body stuck out so far, I had to space out this to be able to secure the body so the body doesn't rattle back and forth. And this, I'm running the VXL system. I did put onboard audio into this with the STRC wheelie bar. People ask me, why did you do it? Because I wanted to do something fun, and I took the inside of the body and mounted the speakers from the onboard audio so that when I hit the trigger, it makes the drag noises, which I thought was pretty fun. It doesn't do anything for the performance, it's just something fun to have. Plus, with the thumb switch, since I have the trigger switch on this one, I can hold it full throttle in neutral and then just flip the thumb switch and it takes off. So, and this is using the VXL system because I bought a VXL high center of gravity and converted it to low center of gravity. With that being said, let's come over to RC Guy Garage Drag Bug. Now, the drag bugs challenge was something RC guy came up with. It's basically, he took a Hobile or a Red Cat and he made a drag setup out of what he had, a two-wheel drive car. Basically supposed to take parts that you had and convert it to a drag bug. So what I did was I took one of my stock slashes, looked just like that, and I took all my leftover parts from doing all 3 of my builds, and I built this drag bug. And all this is random miscellaneous parts that I slapped together. The front wheels that came off the Traxxas drag car, the ready-to-run drag car that they discontinued, that I used the rear wheels on the Mustang. These are the front wheels that I thought was too small for the Mustang body. It looked really funny. But on drag bug, it doesn't matter. I have them. I used them. It works really, really good. If you guys saw the video on this thing leaves really, really well. And this is basically all Traxxas stuff with, I think that was a Sidewinder 3 system. So, with that being said, the front wheelbase is still a little over 10.5. And the rear is at 11.25 or 11.5. And because the bug body, it doesn't matter how far the wheels stick out. It didn't really matter what the wheel base was. So, and all of them are going to be about the same from front hub to rear hub, which is about 13 inches. So, because they're all based off a chat slash platform. So, that brings us over to this piece. Now this piece, I haven't really done much with it. I took it out of the box and here it sits. Now, doesn't this platform look really familiar? Down to the side bumper guards, to the pan dish low center of gravity body, which I thought is really cool. The motor wires going through the rear shock brace. It is down lower. Traxxas is up higher. The only big difference I noticed is that the steering servo is up front here, where the slashes are on the side. So the steering servo is mounted way down low. This steering servo is mounted up pretty high. When I open the box, I'm like, wow, this looks like, to me, two-wheel drive slash. Transmission in the back. It's got same style cover. Anytime you build a two-wheel drive, it's gonna somewhat look like this. They are running steel CVDs, or CVAs as they call them, which I thought was pretty cool. The shocks are mounted on the rear of the shock tower versus Traxxas is mounted on the front. So, which is easily changed. I've watched people take the shocks on a slash and move them to the back or the front of the shock towers. Same thing here. The rears are faced forward on the rear, and these are faced back. On a slash, you can move them to the back. You can move these to the back. You just have to do a slight modification, which we have done. Now this wheelbase is 10 inches, little over 10 inches. And the front is 9 3/4. So this chassis is really skinny. So if we were to take the OCTANE, the Proline body, and stick that onto this DR10, it would look silly. The holes aren't going to be in the right place, but as you see, the wheels are really sucked in. Let me get you guys down here. The wheels are pretty far sucked in on this build. But it does fit. It's just the wheels are tucked way inside compared to the way it looks on the Jconcept. Or Jconcept. I don't know why I keep calling it Jconcept. The Jconcept's build. Now, as far as the Mustang body, it should fit really nice. And as you see, it does. Body poster in the wrong place. But you can get the body post to line up. I'll show you what the wheelbase looks on this. The wheelbase, with the way the wheels sit, sits almost perfect. So this is a body that would really work on this DR10 Team Associated, which I'm betting the Mustang or the Nova 2 body is going to look really good on there as well. It's like it was made for this body. That fits really, really nice. I actually like the way that body sits on that chassis. So that Nova 2 body, perfect for that platform. Now, as far as a bug build, a bug body is going to fit right on, no matter what, because you'll be able to trim it and make it look really cool. So that's another good body. A $20, $25 body. You can find these on eBay. This is Proline, and they actually sell two different bug bodies. One's a Baja style and one is this style. So now that we got that out of the way, what I want to compare is chassis. Let's see, the chassis has to be about the same. Yep. From wheel nut to wheel nut is 13, just like a Slash. Let's check the width of this tub. 6 inches. I think Slash's tub is a little wider. 7 inches. The tub length, . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . It's hard to, if you calculate the front, I'm going to go from shock tower to shock tower because the tub goes farther and it goes farther back to the transmission. But shock tower to shock tower is 11. Shock tower to shock tower is 11 and a half. So on the Bug, it's 11 and a quarter. And this is using the factory mount. That's why I wanted to check this one. This is Traxxas factory rear shock tower and front shock tower. And it's 11 and a quarter. So there's a 1/4 inch difference between shock tower to shock tower and a 1 inch difference wide. This tub is skinnier, but the platform is very much similar, except, like I said, the steering. The steering as you see is mounted here on a slash, and sometimes I run them at the bottom, sometimes I'll run them at the top. It all depends on what limits my steering the most. I've tried it at the bottom, which seems to work really good. At the top, it gives me more steering range, but on a drag car you just don't need that. So hopefully this has answered a lot of questions. This video is getting really long, but I just wanted to share the differences between the Slash platform and the different companies making the bodies. Regardless, you can always make bodies fit because you can extend the wheel hexes, you can extend control arms, you can always modify the wheels to fit whatever body you want to stick on here, as long as your wheelbase and your body holes are at 13, which these are all at 13 inches. And that's why every one of these bodies work well on this platform. Hopefully this information helps some people out there. But regardless of what you decide you're going to do, get out there and build yourself a Bug. Get out there and build yourself a drag car. Or go out and buy a DR10. Because regardless, this platform, the way all of these are designed, it's a super, super fun build and project. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on my next video. So there we go guys. That's my thoughts on all the drag builds. All my Slash drag builds were just fun projects that I wanted to try. Things I saw up on the internet that I wanted to build. Slash platform is an awesome platform to modify because the part support is amazing when it comes to building something that you want to build that's unique and different. Even when it comes to this F100 here, or a Mustang, or a Nova 2, or the Octane, or even Drag Bug. These are all custom Traxxas built RCs. What makes this special is that this is a ready to run. No modification, no skill required. You buy it, you go out, you have fun. So if you're not into wrenching and you want to drag race, that's the platform to buy. Team Associated did an awesome job by building this and allowing the public to now have a drag build that's a ready to run for $300. So appreciate you guys watching this, and we'll see you guys on my next video.